Oh, careful what you say now, guys and gals.
No taking it back.
Got another Dan on here. Is this Dan Frank?
That would be the government accusation.
Hey, Dan.
How you doing, man?
Good, good. How about yourself?
Oh, living the dream, enjoying COVIDcation, right?
Vacation, I like it.
That's the new word.
That's a good one. I like that. I'm going to use that one.
I had to steal it from one of my students. You know, I'm not creative enough.
So I have a question. All the babies born 9.5, 10 months from now, we're going to call them cronials?
How about just COVID babies?
We're going to call it the second plague, maybe. I don't know.
Time to start investing in Huggies and
All right.
formula brands.
That's
I'm
it.
losing control. We haven't even started.
What do you expect? Got a bunch of shop teachers in one room. Captive audience.
That's a good thing, though. A lot of shop teachers in the same room. Hey, so let's start. So I'm Steve Dicus. I'm the moderator on this. And let's just go real fast. Your name and what school or organization you represent. And then we're going to go right into the first presentation from Sal. Anybody want to start?
I'll go.
Go, Pete.
Pete DeLosa. I teach engineering and design at Golden Sierra High School in Garden Valley.
Who's next?
I'll go. My name is Brett Barnes. I teach at Shasta High School. I teach engineering, CAD, advanced manufacturing, and CP biology.
Excellent. Who else?
Brian Grigsby. I teach as well at Shasta High School. I teach robotics. Let's see, not exploring engineering. That's Brett. I hope I'm not letting the cat out of the bag like I'm teaching that for him. But I also teach earth science. So you name it.
Perfect. Who's next? Want to know your name and your
I'll
school?
go.
I'm Dan Turner. I teach welding fabrication at Yuba College and help run the manufacturing, find money for the manufacturing program. Used to teach at Foothill with Brian, or actually in the same district.
Hey, Dan.
Hey, how you doing?
Good, man.
Who's
I'm
next?
Dan.
Okay, Dan Frank, recovering alcoholic, just hanging out in my garage.
And loves daisies and pansies and walks in the quiet
Only
beach.
when I could hold hands with you, man.
Oh.
All right, who's next?
I'm Rob Hayworth from Laguna Creek High School. I teach manufacturing.
Perfect. Next.
Alex Todd, Monterey Trail.
Okay.
Alex Gibbs, I teach at Valley High School, engineering and computer integrated manufacturing.
Perfect. Welcome. Who else?
I'll go next. Jeff, go ahead. I'll go then. My name is Dee. I'm working for Autodesk account manager to support West Coast universities manufacturing software.
Excellent. Welcome. Who else we got?
John Zay, Sacramento City College.
Hey, John.
Mark Martin, Bay Area Community College's Regional Director. Jeff Briggs for Bay Area.
Hey, Mark. How are you? Good to see you again.
Mike Bastine, South Central Coast Region, Advanced Manufacturing Regional Director.
Hey, Alan.
John Schmidt. I'm the Regional Director for Advanced Manufacturing in the far north.
Excellent. Who else we got? Oh, somebody sneaking in.
This is Sal Lascola with Monterey Trail High School. I teach engineering and architecture.
Outstanding. Anybody else?
I'll go.
Hello,
Jeff Briggs,
this is
Regional
Rashan.
Director,
Oh.
Advanced Manufacturing for the North Region. Sorry, whoever I cut off.
It was me you cut off. This is Rashan Chow, Regional Director
Sorry.
for Advanced Manufacturing for the San Diego Imperial Region.
Excellent. I think that's just about everybody. Anybody else wants to
I
talk?
am Karen Fraser Middleton.
Hey,
I
Karen.
work with Steve and do the newsletter for Education to Manufacturing with Jeff and Mike and Steve.
Okay. So there may be other people that'll join us. We're going to go for about an hour. And I've asked Sal if we had this meeting last Thursday, and he was working up some stuff with AutoCAD web application. He's running into some challenges with going from 3D to 2D. And Sal, you got a few minutes to talk, and then when you're done, we've got a poll we're going to throw at you real fast. It'll be real quick. And then I've asked Dan Turner if he'll take the screen and kind of show us some of the things he's doing. And we're going to open it up for questions and answers and start to create a community. So, Sal, you want to take us there?
Sure. So let me just give you a quick background on what I have my kids create. And so I've been doing this for about 16 years now, and we currently have our kids design in their senior year custom drones. And I have them 3D and solid model all of their components and assemblies using Inventor. And then after they make all of their working and technical drawings, I have them fabricate the components out of sheet metal and 3D printed components. And then they do the assembly, they do all the electrical, and then I'll show them and teach them how to do all the calibration of the motors and the software applications that are necessary for, for flying. And I teach them how to fly them. And then we try to even get into a little bit of certification through FAA as well. So that's kind of the background. It's pretty intensive. We're on a block schedule, on a 4x4 block. So the first 9 weeks, the students do all the design work in Inventor. And then the second 9 weeks is when they do all the fabrication, assembly, and testing.
That's your challenge right now, right? You got through the first 9 weeks?
Correct. So we've got the first 9 weeks under our belt. Most of the students have their designs done. A whole bunch still have some more modeling to do and some more technical drawings to create. So my issue I have now is since many of my kids don't have Inventor at home and can't load Inventor for whatever reason, whether they don't have access to the right computer in terms of 64-bit OS or a computer access at all, I'm trying to figure out a way that they can still do drafting and modeling, maybe using a 2D platform. So I looked online, found AutoCAD web app. It's all 2D. It's very rudimentary. Not a lot of options and functionality, but there is a little bit of promise. So at this point, what I found was I think I have to take all of their files. It's going to be a lot of work, but take all their files, convert them for them, or at least those that need them, from an Inventor file to an AutoCAD file, share them with them through Google Classroom, and then they can open those up on their end and then do the modeling that they need to do or editing and things like that. So that's kind of where I'm at now.
How are they going to get the files back to you so you can evaluate and work with them and answer questions?
So using Google Classroom, we'll set up, I'll set up a classroom for them, and I'll give them permissions to share files with me. And then I'll have them create a folder on their Google Drive that they share with me, that I'll create a link on my end, so that all I have to do is go into their folder when they're done, open up the files, and I can grade, review, and then provide feedback.
Hey, anybody else on the call got another or alternative solution for Sal possibly? They might be able to get some 3D stuff on a cloud-based type thing that will work for what he's talking about.
I don't know of anything, you know, there's SketchUp, but that doesn't deliver you the kind of precision that you need.
Tinkercad is another option, but it's also very, very basic. I know 7th graders, and they can do it even, I think, from the smartphone, but not with the ability to produce the same kind of drawings and dimensions and things.
Yes, I saw in the chat, Mark had a question about how about have you considered using Fusion? I had the same question. How about Fusion 360 in this case?
So I'm not familiar with Fusion 360.
Okay.
Do you know if that's, because that can be accessed and used on, say, like a Chromebook, or do you have to download it to a computer?
You don't have to download to your computer. It's a cloud-based. However, I don't think Fusion is running on Chromebook. I have a good news though. We are actually offering a virtualization service. So if needed, I can apply for that for your school, and that way your students can even access Fusion through Chromebook. So that's a development since last week. So that this is pretty new.
D, I'd go for that too.
Yeah, so if you can afterwards maybe send me email or and also with your school name, please let me know and I can apply for that, and then that way your students will be able to access it. So they already can access it through the web, and if it's Chromebook this way, you can also allow them to access it.
This is Mark Martin. You broke up on my end a little bit there, but do you mean that they remote desktop into an AutoCAD computer to be able to run it?
I think we are using a third-party service, like I think called Airtable. So it's not like running on AutoCAD server per se, but it's a service we're trying to set up for our education customers.
But it doesn't. The high schools don't need to set up any sort of software on their.
No, no, it's more like as long as you have internet, you
Sure.
can access it.
Hey, Dee, could you post your email in the chat so that we can send you that, so we can request it, so we can access it on Chromebooks, because that's what we have?
Yeah. And then the approval process will take a few days. So please be patient when I apply for that access.
Sure. D, is that specifically for Fusion 360 or is it other Autodesk products?
As far as I know, it's for Fusion 360. That's also the product I'm supporting. Okay. Yeah. But if you need anything else, please also let me know. I can reach out to my colleagues.
Okay. Thank you.
Like Inventor as an example.
Steve, were you saying something?
Like Inventor as an example.
Inventor?
Yeah, because some of these guys are an Inventor.
Yeah, let me check. Let me check for you guys.
That way the learning curve would be small or not there for the students, and they can just jump right into it.
Yeah.
I have a coworker that would be interested in AutoCAD if that's a thing.
How about AutoCAD Web?
I don't know if he's tried that.
Maybe maybe they can try that first. I know starting from today, AutoCAD Web is available for students.
Okay.
Yeah.
Also like to ask if you could see if Fusion 360 has any interactivity with Revit.
Okay, I'll check.
Dee, we're glad you're on the call. We're keeping you busy.
That's great.
Anybody else have any thoughts for Sal or for Dee right now? Well, if they come to you, toss them into the chat. And so Jeff and I put together, or I basically put together just a quick little polling survey. I just want to get a sense. And so Jeff, can you launch that poll real fast and leave it open for like 2 minutes, maybe a minute? They're just 3 quick questions.
Yep, I just sent it out.
Okay. So the first one, do you have students that you would like to get into some type of a regional product iteration project? Basically, I was thinking about maybe redesigning a basic stapler. That's the first question. And then the second one, are you willing to take a few minutes on one of our upcoming shop talks and talk about what you're doing, some of the good things that are going on? And the last question is, how frequently should we have these right now, as we're still trying to figure out which way the waters are flowing? Twice a week, weekly, every other week, or other? So if you'll just click on that. And then while we're waiting, Chicken Wing has come on. Chicken Wing, who are you? Help us know.
That's Matt Wynn, Casumna Oaks High School. Okay. I don't know why the screen name is that. I guess it's from another application. It has nothing to do with this, though.
That's a great name.
We love you, man. We're glad you're here. All right. Has everybody had a chance?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, looks like a lot of people want to share in the future, which would be really cool. And then the polling, looks like we're kind of tied there between weekly, about half, and a little less every other week. So we have something scheduled right now for this Wednesday. Anybody think that's too much, too soon?
Well, is the content going to be similar in terms of what we did today? Is going to be a little bit different?
Great question. I think the content, Rob, didn't you say that you were going to do something on Wednesday? Something different than what you're doing in your...
Yeah, I think I'll share what I'm up to for my advanced manufacturing group.
So let's do that on Wednesday. If you want to join, Rob's going to talk, and if somebody else wants to jump on. We're trying to make these about an hour long, no more. And if we could fill the time with somebody else, that'd be really cool.
So this is John Zay with Sacramento City College.
Hey, John.
I'm with the HVAC and industrial maintenance mechanic. So if you like, I could talk a little bit about our newest program, which is industrial maintenance mechanic, which your high school kids could feed into.
Well, you know what? Right now, I think, John, this is teachers, you can tell me if I'm crazy, but I think they're most interested in figuring out how they're connecting with students.
Well,
pushing out curriculum today.
And we can also, I can also share with you what we're doing.
That's what I think that would be more valuable. So you want to do that then on Wednesday?
Sure, that'd be fine.
Because that's what we like to hear, but we want to hear about your program going forward as well. Perfect. So I'm going to end the polling right now, if you don't mind. And Dan Turner, are you ready to step up and kind of share with what we did this morning? I thought it was fantastic. I think it would benefit this group tremendously.
Absolutely.
Take the stream, man.
Oh, I got it. So I'm going to just share my screen with you and share. All right, you should see my screen, and I'm going to call up my interweb right now. Basically, what I wanted to talk to you today is about several opportunities that's going on by my friends at Lincoln, and a few other people have joined on board. And they formed this new website called CTE Coalition. .com, and it'll take you to the industry dedicated. What it is all of these national companies have come together to help educators transfer to online. They've added several new ones. It was just Haas, Lincoln, Skills USA, and NC3, and I'll discuss a little bit now. Sandvik's involved, Haas is involved. And if you click on any of these, and then Autodesk is also part of the CT Coalition, they have made all their services free to students. Somebody said the next 60 days. I heard the next 30 days. But this is these are resources for educators. And what you do when you click on it, you just click the NC3 is what I wanted to focus on today. This is kind of the new wave of current technical education, and they're sponsored by all of these national companies. And what it is, when you click start a new account, a new school and certification request, you have to create an account and send an email, and like everything else, they'll review it, and they will get back to you in an email with the access for it. But what really awesome is this CertKit sales rep. I just put in like Jimbo or something like that. I didn't really put a name in there, but I was kind of worried about them. But if you look at the list of opportunities for students, and I'm in the process of getting to be a certified institution for NC3, you have to go through the actual training themselves and pass all the tests. But these are the actual, the actual curriculum from the companies. So there's something on here for everybody, from head, eye, face protection, hydraulics, electricity, electronics, and also there's some sheet metal, but there's manufacturing also, principles of welding. Where's the manufacturing one? Down here, the PM1s are all measurement and calibrations. Then you also have PLCs, mechatronics on the left. But if you scroll down here, what they're asking to do is for you to just click on the subjects that you have the ability to teach. So if you have automotive instructors, if you have welding instructors, or pretty much a little bit of everything, there's topics here that you can utilize for your classes, and then they'll send you an email to look at that and utilize those. I can is this being recorded?
Yeah.
It is? Okay, then I want to show you the stuff that they send you. I have an example of one, but I don't have permission for them from them to show you the content of it. But I can show you the site and actually show you these opportunities. So if you want to, you can take advantage of that. That is, let me move the screen out of the way. Another opportunity that I wanted to talk to you guys about is a partner of mine, Miller Electric, has offered this LMS for welding instructors or for instructors to use for their classes. And I've started using this in my classes. If you just type in openbook.millerwelds.com or just type in Miller Welds Education and search it, you're going to have to actually create an account, and it's pretty simple, and email them, and they will get back to you. It was a matter of less than an hour for them to okay me to get my institution started. They will actually send you, I moved that out of the way, send you an organization code. So this is my organization code right here. And how this works is if I click on new course, and I've already made this several times, so I'm going to call this Weld, let's call Weld 102, and I will just call it Test Welding, Test Welding course. And what that allows you to do now is create a course. So I'm just going to say 100 entries. And what that is now these are all subjects that you can put into a class. Of course, a lot of them have to do with welding because this is from Miller Welding. But if you come down, there's also some other topics such as electricity, blueprint reading, defects in welding, cutting processes. But then you come down also to types of metals, metal properties. So I'm just going to put these into a class. So I just click the plus button, and providing my internet works today. Come on. Okay, let's just say, so it put this into my course. So whatever you click up here, it's going to come down here and put it into your course. So what do these look like? And then you get there's a quiz at the end, and you get to tell them how much is a passing score you get in right here. And then you also get to say how many attempts they get from that. And for some reason, my internet, there we go. Hey, it worked. Then I could actually tell it how many passes. But what this looks like is it's a pretty interesting deal because it meets ADA compliance and a few other things. Can you guys hear that? No? Okay, let me do this.
Operating or servicing unit. Read the safety information at the beginning of the manual and in each section.
So the way this
Upon
works,
completion of this e-learning series, you will be able to understand the associations that classify metals.
the way this works is off to the left here is what's, they're basically reading this script while the slides are going. So this meets ADA compliance, so you don't have to close caption it or anything like that. And the students can pause like I just did. They can take notes if they want to. They can watch at their leisure.
How metals are identified, and how metals are coated and protected.
So they work through it at their own.
There are a number of organizations that classify metals, and each one uses its own methodology for identifying metal alloys. Some of these organizations can be seen in this list.
So I don't want to take up a lot of your time, but this is an example of what they do, and here's all of the wording. So if a student wants to take notes, they want to highlight, they can. But here's the actual the topics that this is going to. These are the topics that they are going to cover in this. So the spark testing was pretty awesome.
Spark testing can help you determine the general classification of ferrous materials. It's done by placing a scrap piece of metal against a grinding wheel and then observing the sparks. Different types of metals produce different types of spark patterns, as shown on this chart. However, it's important to realize that this testing method is very subjective. For instance, spark patterns 4, 5, 6, and 10 are all relatively close. This means it's very easy to misidentify the metal when you're looking at these sparks in a work.
So after the students go through this, it comes to a quiz, and this is where you get you get the opportunity to choose how much is passing. I chose 70%, and they get 2 chances to pass it. And then what this does, I'm just going to click on it. They hit submit. Wow, I got it right. So they go through the test. And from that, let me see, get back here. That's a passing score. Let me go back up to some sections I already made. If I go, for example, let's just say my Weld 10 course, and I'm going to say, this is a class that I made. These are some students that are in it, and I don't want to get too far into it. But I can make a new section, and from that section, I could actually assign a teacher to those sections. But if I look at, let's say I just go to that section, I could actually go view gradebook, and everything that I've assigned is right here, and it shows the students how they attempted it, how they're doing. And I don't want to show too much personal information on their part, but that is automatically gets put into a gradebook for you, so you can monitor a student's process through the courses that you assigned. So that's just one opportunity on the Miller website. And how you would assign a new teacher. Let's see, go here. Let's go to views. Is you do new account holder, and then you just type in their information. And let's just say I have Bob Hope teaching for me. Okay. So you fill that out, the company, and you just click instructor, and that will automatically add that to an instructor for your organization. So you can have multiple instructors. You could assign the instructors to courses, and that will give them purview for that. So how do you invite students for that section? If I click, for example, Weld 10, this right here, where it says invite learners to this course section, you just click copy. You'll go into however you're emailing your students or contacting your students, and just paste that into that email. And then you come back out here to the course code. They have to enter that code in to be able to access the LMS that you have created for that section. So the URL per section you send to them with this organization access code, and then they could access it. A lot of students will email you back, say they can't get in, but the problem, they have to actually make an account with the Miller Electric for the section, and once they've created an account, they can then log into these classes. For those teachers that teach in the K-12 system, I don't know the legalities of that because they're under 18. They might have to get you might have to get a parental permission slip or digital parental permission slip. Maybe that's something, I don't know if that's the K-12 teachers. Do you guys have that? Since you have to transfer online, do you have a digital parental permission slip for them to access things like this?
It's called an AB 1584 writer.
Okay,
And
so
we
that
have to-
allows, what's that?
We have to get those approved by our district office for each online electronic thing that uses student data.
How do the rest of you guys do it?
I beg for forgiveness.
Okay.
I'm in the same boat. I just do what I need to do and figure if somebody complains, we'll figure it out on the back end.
Maybe that would be something this group would come together. Is there a common form that we could put together and help and help others out that way?
I usually use the parent email, and when the parent gets tired of it, then they electronically give me permission, usually.
Okay. That's one advantage of working at a college. That's interesting. So that's just an LMS that I found I've worked that was available to us as welding instructors, but it can be used by other instructors also for the topics like metallurgy and things like that. Another website that I've used is AWO. Let me just delete that out. It's the American Welding Society online. So it's awo.aws.org. And they have online courses for instructors to use. And they also have the course that you can take. One thing that I've been working on is right here, you have the welding glossary. And this is a whole set of terms dealing with welding, with metallurgy, with materials, material sciences. And I'm going through and I'm just taking 5 to 10 words. And then I put it out there as far as like the discussion posts, go find these 5 words on this site and copy and paste the definitions into the discussion and send it back to me. That's just a little fun exercise that I've been finding they actually aren't too opposed to, and it's fairly simple. But what I plan on doing is, I know a lot of you have probably used Kahoot before. They actually have online Kahoot rounds so that you can go live. And I was thinking about using this in class. I actually made an account, and I wanted to show you this site. If you wanted to, or if your school wanted to, through your site, for $5, you can have up to 100 player games. For $10 a year, it's 200 player games. And then for $15, you go up to 2,000 player games. I'm just doing the standard. And so for basics, you could go up to 50 players, which I hope your classes aren't more than 50 per classroom. I had a couple that were when I taught high school, but so I'm just doing the basic or the free version of it. And this is what you get for it. So you can choose if you want to pay money for it or not. But I'm just doing the basic version of it. And with this is you could actually make tests up. I was thinking about making one up for this group today, but I decided not to. But you could assign names of teams. You could put the students in teams, or they could have their own nicknames. And this is just a fun little game. You can put as many questions as you want, multiple choice questions, true or false questions, and the students get to play against their peers. So it's just some kind of fun, some kind of fun for the students to do while they're the monotony of just online worksheets. And it's a way to go live with your students. That's kind of fun to do.
Hey, Dan.
What's up?
It's Mark Martin here. Do you know if there's a way to share, like
something a quiz you do with others? Is there a way we can create a community so that if we create one, that others can
That is an excellent question. I just made an account and it started using it because my own kids decided that we needed to have a Kahoot family game night.
Yep, mine.
And it actually turned out to be a lot of fun.
Dan, can I answer that question?
Yes, please do.
So it's been a couple years since I used Kahoot, but you're able to put your presentation or your game into a open profile where anybody can look at it. There's a way to transfer that over.
Yeah, and then I'm just wondering if there's a way to tag it or to designate it so that we know, a community of it's a welder, somebody that we know. So okay,
right,
great, thanks.
Right. So that actually be a good way to do that is make a repository of Kahoot games. Maybe next time we'll put together Kahoot and play it as a group.
So the other way you could do this is you could put everything you're going to do on Kahoots on a Word doc, and then all you have to do, including the pictures, you could put the question and the answers, and then that really speeds up the development of the game, and that could be shared just by using it on a Word doc. It might be a little simple.
Yeah, no, that's a good idea.
Yeah. So that's just something that I thought would be a little bit fun. The other thing that website I found is called Instructables. And this has a whole bunch of different topics. This just happens to be a welding lesson. And then there was one called CertKits. And so these are just ideas of how to make circuits. I've only gone through the welding part of this. I've not done anything else. So just ideas that others have posted to make things. Questions so far?
Yeah, I have a couple questions.
What's up?
So are you doing your labs online?
I'm doing some labs online, the research labs, but I'm starting my classes up back next week.
Oh, you are?
Oh, absolutely. If you go to, I guess I'm a rebel, I don't know. But if you go back here, this is the list of exclusions. Let me go all the way to the top. This is from the State Department of California, and of course it's going to do that because I need to turn on my VPN. Excuse me just a second. There we are. So now I have VPN back to school. So if you go up here to the top, this is the executive order that was issued by Governor Newsom. But if you go down here to page 11, right here at page 11, one of the exclusions are workers and instructors supporting academics and training facilities and courses for the purpose of graduating students and cadets that comprise the essential workforce for all identified critical sectors. And so the critical sectors, manufacturing is one of the critical sectors. So if you come down here, I come down here, page 11. Where are we here? There's 14. So right here. So critical manufacturing. So this actually is part of the critical workforce. So if you're a teacher that teaches part of these critical workforces, welding's one of them, manufacturing's one of them. But right up here, it says workers and instructors supporting academies or training facilities. So in my definition, we have a training facility as our schools. I don't know if the K-12s are going to go for it, but I've been able to get our college to allow us to host our labs. I'm still doing online lectures, but as far as the practical labs, this is a little bit of trickiness on my part of getting them pared down to 10 per section, because I'm trying to follow as many rules as I can. So I'm going to have some come on, for example, my Monday, Wednesday class, where Mondays usually lecture. I'm going to have Monday labs, Wednesday labs, and just split the class in half. And because in welding, they have their individual workspaces, they have gloves on, they have a hood on, and I just tell them that they need to practice safe social distancing. I'm allowed to host my labs. So
your district's allowing you to?
Yes.
Okay, very good.
Shasta's going back. I know we're going back. I haven't heard Mr. Conkle up at Lassen what they're doing. But that's I've been working with the chancellor and a few others and getting this set up and he's even said that he's made it perfectly clear that if instructors want to offer their labs, that they can.
And what chancellor are you referring to?
Doug Houston.
Is he, okay, you're chancellor of Yuba City.
Correct.
So Dan, it's Mark. Are you allowing all classes to come on, or just those critical for graduating the students?
I'm all classes are critical to graduating.
Well, no, I know, but the question is whether or not the purpose of that is to get folks out, like finish up this semester and get them out in the workforce versus a beginning student who's not. Yeah.
Well, in all my classes, I have students at all different parts of their journey. So I stack my classes. So I have the introductory and advanced classes in the same classes. So I'm running everything.
So Dan, have you been able to use any interactive simulators?
I have not run the simulators online. I have found some, but I don't have permission to use them or show them off. So I wasn't going to. There are some really interesting websites, I guess, that other people put together. But again, I don't have permission to show those off yet. I'm working on it. But there's a lot of videos. I know it's not as good as doing the hands-on training, but there are, if for example, I used to use a lot of electronic websites that had create the circuits, put the parts of the circuits together. I used to do it with my own kids. I know that somebody brought up Tinkercad. My own children and I were working with Tinkercad. I also do some online SolidWorks demonstrations for the students that go along with it. But as of right now, no, I don't. I am not using the online simulators. What I'm trying to do is front end my lectures online, and that way when we come back, we could do mostly labs in person.
Interesting. Because see, we're 100% locked down. We will be this summer, and then we'll find out sometime this week if the campus will open up in the fall.
Correct. I've heard of many institutions that are choosing that route, but I am choosing not to. Yeah. Now, this other caveat: if I tell all my students if they're fearful or if they feel sick, stay home. But this is, and we also wear masks when we're in class. So I know it's not ideal, but this is what I'm doing.
Well, yeah, but the key point here is that your administration's allowing you to do this.
Right.
If they did not allow you to do this, then you couldn't do it.
Well, if I showed you this, let me show you this. And this is a letter that Shasta College actually sent out to their faculty. And they actually went, they're going to start in-person instruction March 30th for Fire Academy, EMT, and some science programs. So they're actually allowing some science classes, but they're looking at other programs. So if you click on this website, they actually have up on their website courses that they're going to allow to run and when they're going to run. Oh, these are suspended. Yesterday they were allowing it. So there are others that are still being allowed to run.
Well, that welding class is suspended, right?
Right. That's one of their welding classes, not all their welding classes. But that being said, yeah, so I'm going to go back and where am I looking for? So
Yeah,
I'm
Dan,
going to go back and teach labs.
Is the only one is moving on. Everybody else, at least in the north, is and the far north are not going to be holding labs, and that's just I think that changed over the weekend.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I just talked to Jay last week, so that's where he was with that.
Yeah, I talked to him today, and he said it changed over the weekend.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, the only one I'm not sure is College of the Redwoods, but yeah, it's obviously a floating.
Yeah, Danny, we talked to Danny, and I don't know if he's going to shut down or not, or run his labs over College Redwoods. So I should get a hold of him. So, are there any other questions?
Dan, this is Dicus again. Great job. Thanks for showing us all.
Good stuff.
Hopefully some of you are able to pick up on all that.
Yeah. I'm going to try to reach out to Haas and see if they can make an LMS system or something. And then you guys too, because I know a lot of you guys work with the Haas equipment, but this is the website. These are the tips of the day. And they also do other Haas University, I think is what they call it. Dan Frank could probably talk more about that than I can. But
actually, Rob Green and I were working slowly on bringing an LMS kind of with high school curriculum, but we are nowhere near launching what we have.
Okay.
And that was in partnership with Haas.
Right. Karen said that something was in the works, so I don't know. But these are, I mean, there are a ton of videos just on the tips of the day right here, which I'm showing you right here. And they go through the entry all the way to intermediate and advanced. So we use, we're also putting things together, trying to get some online videos together for other processes. So any other questions?
So thanks again, Dan. This is Dicus again.
No problem.
I just put my email in the chat. If any of you want to join our ongoing calls and sessions, please email me if you didn't get a personal invite from me today or a calendar invite. I'll make sure you're on my list going forward. And we've got just a few more minutes. So our next meeting is going to be this Wednesday at 3:30. We've got a couple of people that are going to talk. But we still have a couple minutes. Is there anything they want to share that they had success with?
Steve?
Yeah.
I just put my email also in the chat to everyone. And if you want my cell phone or you want to talk or anything or any way I can help you out. One thing I did not show you is we started a Welding resources on Facebook that we're also putting together for welding educators. And we have another webinar just as a follow-up because I covered a lot of this information last week. But we're doing one every Thursday to kind of follow up welding instructors. And any way I can help you, please don't hesitate to reach out.
Hey, Steve, could you put your email in there too so that way we can make sure to email you to get on this list?
Yeah, I thought I did, but let me just double check.
Okay.
I think you sent it out privately, Steve, not to everyone.
Oh, is that the way it did? Okay, I'm new at this, so I'm working.
So has anybody used any simulators for their classes?
I have welding simulators in my class that they use while they're there, but I don't have any online simulators.
Online, okay.
Let me look. Let me just, Google's free today, so I'll just check that out. So what kind of simulators are you looking for?
Well, like I said, we teach HVAC, so, and we are working with a few people to make those available to our students. They're web-based. I was just curious of how they worked out, if it had anybody tried it yet.
I heard about Immerse to Learn. That's online simulator for a house machine, and you can even see the controller of the CNC machines. Has anyone tried that?
See, our goal is try to get as many simulators as we can.
You know, we up here at Shasta, we've been using Intelitech stuff, CNC Motion, some of the robotic stuff. You guys are familiar with that, and I know that they've got a webinar tomorrow at 12:30 our time. I can send that to Steve. I can send that to you about registering for that. Basically, it's about expanding your manufacturing training program to prepare students for Industry 4.0 jobs. So it's from Brown County High School. I have no idea how good or how it is, but it's just another resource that I could certainly send that to you, Steve.
Yeah, Brian, send it to me and I'll send it out as soon as I get it. That'd be good. And Dee, a quick question for you. You're up on this.
Yeah.
Have you thought further about some type of a challenge we might be able to roll out?
Yes, I did.
Want to
Yes.
talk about that for a second?
Yes, of course. So for a design challenge, we actually had a pretty good success with one of the California community colleges, Diablo Valley College. We've been sponsoring for the last 2 or 3 years. The only thing I'm not sure is because right now we only have 1 month left to this semester. I don't know if the time will be enough, because what we normally do is we incorporate the design challenge as part of the class. Like we started in February, kick it off, and then we're going to have a midterm check this week, and then in early May we're going to finish the design challenge. So the timing is the only thing I'm not sure of. But when it comes to, because of the COVID, we also moved the challenge completely online, and then because Fusion is cloud-based, so that transition has been pretty smooth. And then when it comes to like a training, technical support, all of that can be done online as well. So I think, and then also students are really engaged. Yeah, like I said, the only thing I'm not sure is the timing, how we fit it into the semester.
So I have a question on using this program. If I wanted to share my screen with you, do I just hit shared screen?
I'm seeing you. Anybody else seeing him?
No, I mean my whole, you see my video,
Yes.
but how do you see my screen as Dan did that when he did?
If you hit screen share, it should share your screen. You get to choose which screen you want it to share.
Okay. Because I'll show you guys some simulators on Wednesday that we're using. And Dan, you might be interested. I have to go back, but I think there's one on welding. Okay.
So who else?
This is Mike.
Something up for the good of the order.
Dan, this is Mike Bastine. I was wondering if you had the reference for that paragraph 11 and what you were referring to as far as what's critical sectors.
I can send that out, Mike.
I find it on my computer.
I can send it out.
Okay, thank you.
I can send it to anybody. Just email it to me, and I'll put it in a it's a PDF from it's if you type in essential. Let me go up here. It's put out March 22nd. It's the Governor Newsom Executive Order N33-20. and it's the essential critical infrastructure workers. So that's that.
Hey, this is Mark. I applaud everybody wanting to get back into the classroom. I do want to say you should really think that through and really figure out if this is truly essential. I understand that we want to get our students out there and in the workforce, but we need to seriously slow this down, and any opportunities for people to get infected could just extend this further. So you need to make your own calls, but I've grown more and more concerned about this and the need to make sure we truly quell the spread of it. So thanks.
Any other thoughts? Anybody want to share something? We've got a couple minutes left, or we can call it quits.
I put a little message in the chat. I got a district email from our CTE coordinator that's asking about printing PPE, either masks or something like that. Has anyone else been asked about their 3D printer inventory?
I have.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got a colleague from Mount Shasta High School up in way Northern California got a hold of me and hasn't got a hold of me since, that Siskiyou County needed a ton of stuff printed out for ventilators, but I haven't heard anything back. I didn't know if it was a scam or what it was, but he hasn't got back to me since.
Okay.
And we have 2 students printing face masks and face shields for local EMS right now.
It's not a scam. We're trying to coordinate the California Community College to do that too.
Is everyone sharing the code to print the masks or whatever the PPE is that they're doing?
Steve, I'll send that out to you. I think John has it too, but I'll send it out to you and you can distribute it to the group.
If you go to Stratasys, which is the 3D printer company, there's a website for that. They have a design. There might be some others. But yeah, if I just put the Stratasys website there, you go there and there's a COVID-19 and they have all the files, the DXF files to print it out. So we're working on it at Laney College to see if how we can use it. And we're actually looking at, I'm talking with the manufacturers to try to injection mold this so that we could get high volumes.
Wow, that's amazing. Thank you.
I think it's been a very informative call. I don't know about everybody else, but this has been great.
Yeah, as people were talking, I looked into signing up for the Immerse to Learn. I had to register, so I didn't get too deep in that, but I was browsing through Instructables, and just in like, I don't know, maybe 60 seconds, I bookmarked 4 different things that I thought were interesting to go read further into. So if you haven't, I would recommend looking at that Instructables.
Thanks, Pete. Well, we're at the bottom of the hour. Let's do this. Let's convene. I mean, let's adjourn, and then we'll come back together on Wednesday, 3:30. We've got a couple other presentations, and then the poll basically suggested we do this weekly. And I'm going to suggest maybe we do it next Tuesday, same time, 3:30 in the afternoon. And I'll send out a calendar invite to everybody that's already on my mailing list, and I'll add everyone else that's asked to be included going forward. Any other parting thoughts?
Thank you, Steve. This has been really great.
Yeah,
thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah,
thank you very much.
I'm stopping the recording, so say what you want.